Don't tell us. Don't give us this imaginary, this ethereal, this world that doesn't exist. Show us that you can drop 50. Show us you can win a championship. All your contemporaries have won championships. All of them, all the people that Joel Embiid is usually compared to have made themselves champions. Giannis Antetokounmpo, they were the two best players in the East at one point. Giannis is a champion now. Nikola Jokic, he was compared who's the best in the league. Nikola Jokic has won a championship. Jayson Tatum, he's won a championship. And Joel Embiid has been getting more delusional and annoying as the summer goes on. Hey guys, if you're new here, my name is Emmanuel Camia, and I just want to ask you guys to hit the subscribe button, leave a like underneath this video, and if you want more basketball takes when news is breaking, follow me on Twitter/X at @E_Camia. Let's jump into this topic. Joel Embiid has been talking a lot of crap for someone who hasn't really accomplished much in the NBA. Yeah, Joel Embiid is an MVP and he's made multiple first-team All-NBA, but compared to his contemporaries, Joel Embiid really hasn't accomplished the same amount of things they have. I mean, the people that he was compared to, Jayson Tatum, Nikola Jokic, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, are now champions, and he isn't. A few days ago, he was interviewed by the New York Times, and he had one of the hottest takes that anyone could imagine. He said that were it not for injuries, he would be the GOAT. Yes, the GOAT, that Joel Embiid. In a direct quote, he said that if you think about it, the thing that stopped me were all these freak injuries over the years. Every single playoffs, regular season, people falling on my knees or breaking my face twice. It's always freak injuries at the wrong time. Here's my rebuttal to that. This is what I think of that. I think Joel Embiid, like any star, has to have supreme confidence in themselves to perform at the level that they do. And I think that's what's happening here with Joel Embiid. He's showing us, okay, yeah, you have confidence. It's very confident. Every player that steps up on the basketball court thinks they're better than you. They're better than you. That's why they're going to be able to beat. But on the other hand, using excuses to cover up for your shortcomings is unbecoming of a superstar. And that's what Joel has done here. Because Joel Embiid has had multiple opportunities to show us this GOAT that he can be. Multiple playoff runs in which Joel Embiid could have done what his contemporaries have done, he's failed to do so. Let's go back to 2019. In 2019, Joel Embiid and the 76ers lost to the Toronto Raptors in 7 games. That was a perfect opportunity that Joel Embiid and the 76ers had to go and win a championship. Again, they lost on one shot. Kawhi made the legendary shot and the rest is history. But that's one opportunity. They could have easily gone the other way, but he didn't. And then in 2021, Joel Embiid and the 76ers lost to a then lesser Atlanta Hawks team that was led by scrawny Trae Young. And they used Ben Simmons as the scapegoat. Both he and Doc Rivers scapegoated Ben Simmons, but the blame also went to Joel Embiid and Doc Rivers. Both of them, those men had blame to hold in that loss. That was another opportunity in which Joel Embiid could have gone to the finals and won a championship. And then more recently in 2023, in last year's playoffs, in which the 76ers had James Harden, a former MVP, the 76ers were up 3-2 on the Boston Celtics and heading back to Philadelphia to close them out. Guess what happened in that series? The 76ers ended up losing in 7 games. They lost the next 2 games in a row. That was a perfect opportunity for Joel Embiid to show us this type of GOAT player that he is. But again, he failed. And those were opportunities in which he wasn't injured, he was perfectly healthy, he wasn't wearing a mask, he wasn't on painkillers, that was perfectly healthy. He just came up short. So I don't appreciate the excuse making that Joel Embiid has embarked on, because I have eyes of my own and a brain of my own, and I can interpret what's going on. I've been watching Joel Embiid over the years. You can't lie to me. You can't gaslight me. I know what I see. And frankly, I don't think people care for the excuse making as much as Joel Embiid thinks they care about it. They're not buying it. But Joel Embiid's summer didn't stop there. On a podcast called The Check Ball Show, he took shots at the Celtics, particularly his contemporary Jayson Tatum, in which he said that Jayson Tatum basically has a super team, and that if he had a super team, he would win too. And he went on to say that Jayson Tatum can afford to not be the best player, and that if he goes 5 for 20, the 76ers are going to lose.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's got a super team. You know what I mean? Like, if I had a super team too, I would win too. You know?
I mean, I tell him the same thing. Like,
well, you got a super team now, coach.
If I go 5 for 20, like, we get blown out.
You guys don't know how much shit that I get.
First of all, that's wrong. In multiple cases, Joel Embiid has missed games with the 76ers winning the game. So the 76ers are capable of winning a game without Joel Embiid playing or playing his best. That's just another excuse. Yes, the Celtics have a solid team. Yeah, they have, you could say they're a super team. They're the best roster in the NBA right now. But Joel Embiid has had that too. Joel Embiid has had a plethora of good teams that were championship worthy. Whether it was the one with Ben Simmons on it, you could say Ben Simmons wasn't the perfect player, but they were good enough to the point to make the playoffs and be legitimate contenders. Them falling short, I think it wasn't just Ben Simmons that needed the blame. But then there was also the team that Joel Embiid had that had James Harden. That was a perfect championship caliber team. And I argue that if you had switched Nikola Jokic with Joel Embiid in 2023 and have James Harden, that team probably would have won a championship. But again, Joel Embiid and the 76ers came up short. It seems to me that Joel Embiid doesn't want to own up to his shortcomings. And he's saying whatever and blaming everybody else to just absolve himself of any blame or any responsibility. Because this theme of excuses, it continued on. Because later on in that same podcast, he went on to say that he would be dropping 50 points if he wasn't double teamed. And this just irritates me.
No doubles, like no even, you could dig, but not
no doubles. 50.
50.
Average 50.
Not even kidding.
No, 50
Like,
average.
I would. Because all you would have to do is just throw the ball down there every single possession. I'll get to the free throw line or I'll score. And then, most teams, they have what? 2 big men, 3 big men? Next thing you know, they're all going to be in foul trouble. And even with the double teams nowadays, I get double and triple team every single possession. And, those same guys are still getting foul trouble. So I think, if you were not allowed to double,
he's using if, coulds, woulds, and shoulds to build this persona or this character of who he is, as if we don't see him play. We watch you play, bro. Like, we have eyes of our own, right? And I could build a whole universe of coulds, woulds, and shoulds. We don't care about that. We want to see it. Don't tell us. Don't give us this imaginary, this ethereal, this world that doesn't exist. Show us that you can drop 50. Show us you can win a championship. All your contemporaries have won championships. All of them, all the people that Joel Embiid is usually compared to have made themselves champions. Giannis Antetokounmpo, they were the 2 best players in the East at one point. Giannis is a champion now. Nikola Jokic, he was compared who's the best in the league. Nikola Jokic has won a championship. Jayson Tatum, he's won a championship. And it's not that your team is terrible. Your team is good enough to win a championship. So you need to prove it to us. And this season, this upcoming season, is going to be the perfect opportunity for Joel Embiid to prove to us that he is who he thinks he is. Because there are no more excuses. You just acquired Paul George. A team of Paul George, Joel Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey should be able to be a contender for the championship. Dare I say, that might even be on a cusp of super team. Coached by Nick Nurse, and you have great bench players like Kyle Lowry and secondary players like Kelly Oubre Jr. That's a good enough team to contend for a championship. That's a good enough team to go toe-to-toe with the Celtics. Because in years prior, they've always been able to scapegoat some other player other than Joel Embiid. It was first Ben Simmons. Then it was, they didn't beat the Celtics to win the championship because James Harden isn't the player he used to be, even though the 76ers were up 3-2 on the Celtics. So enough of the excuses. This upcoming season, Joel Embiid, I want to see you perform. You're talking a lot of crap. You're going to have to cash it out. And I don't want to hear about the injury excuses because Joel Embiid has the power within him to control that. Get healthy. Whatever you've been doing up until now clearly isn't working because you're getting injured every season. So go change your nutritionist. Go get a different trainer. Try a different method. Use the method that Anthony Davis has used. Anthony Davis isn't getting injured in these recent years. He used to be someone who was very injury prone. But now, I don't know what it is, but he's changed. He's clearly changed something. You can do that too. You have within your hand the ability to make your own fortune, and I want to see that this upcoming season. I'm going to be watching Joel Embiid closely. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Joel Embiid and his tirades this summer. If you like this kind of content, guys, make sure to hit the subscribe button and leave a like underneath this video. Again, I appreciate you watching. Until next time.